Hello everyone and welcome to Beyond Parenthood Summit. Today we have the wonderful Afshan Tafla. Afshan is a whole life coach helping people transform their health and their lives. She's also a mama to a wonderful special needs boy. And her mission as a conscious parent is to help parents and children thrive together in their wonderful relationship. So, Afshan, welcome to the summit today. We are really super excited to have you here. We know you have an amazing story to tell our audience today. So, could you tell us a little bit about your journey thus far?
Yes, well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be here and be part of this mission that I'm also very passionate about. And it's wonderful that the two of you have gone on this mission and are creating the summit for other people to learn and grow from. So thank you very much as well.
Thank you, Afshan.
So my journey, my journey in parenting was quite a interesting and stressful one initially. So when I had my son, very early on, there was a lot of medical challenges that we were dealing with. From the get-go, he didn't feed very well. He was failure to thrive. He vomited 6 times a day. He barely slept. And then, we were told he had an immune system worse than an AIDS patient. He also had low muscle tone. So it was quite a stressful time. And I went on a mission to really heal this child and do anything possible. You know, as a parent, you will do anything for your child. But what I learned later through my journey was that, and it was only when I hit rock bottom. So what happened was that through my journey of really getting him on a path towards better health, I really hit rock bottom, and then I was diagnosed chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia. So I ended up living with a lot of health challenges. And in this journey of mine, of going on this journey of healing my child, I realized later that the drive behind it was there was this real need and attachment to create an environment, a family environment that was, quote unquote, normal. I needed my child to be normal. I couldn't live with the idea that I was gonna, this was gonna be my life with this child, and that he was gonna be suffering, and then I was gonna be suffering. And so it was a real, drive. There was an attachment to this need to wanting normalcy. And then I think that, through that energy and that drive of wanting normalcy is the reason why I ended up getting sick, because I would not stop. I didn't realize at the time that our children come to us for a reason, and they're there to teach us things. And he's also on his own journey, and he contracted in for this journey himself. So in the state of, fear and worry, and but also in this state of living under these belief systems that I had to have this experience, that I couldn't, that I was being denied this experience, of a normal mom-child relationship. And I was on a mission to do anything possible to get there. So as a result, I ended up getting sick as well. And then I really started to go on my journey of awakening. So my son, I realized very quickly that he was on his own agenda. And, no matter what I did to try and quote unquote fix him, he was having none of it. And really all he wanted was to be loved and accepted for who he truly was. But how could I do that if I didn't love and accept who I truly was? And I didn't even really know who I truly was at the time. So my awakening came to me, through my son and through my struggles with my health. And so I went on that journey to really start to understand, what is the meaning of life? What is really the meaning of true health? Why am I going through this? Why is my son going through this? And through that journey, I really started to understand that, that life is, we all come in for this specific journey of growth and transformation. And it's really up to us to sign up for that. And my son's on his own journey of growth and transformation as well. And as a parent, I I have to kind of get out of the way of that, you know, and then the way that I get out of the way of that, you know, if I don't get out of the way of that, then I create suffering for myself and for him. And the way I get out of the way of that is to really focus on myself and my issues. So whatever issues I have with my child are really mirroring to me the beliefs that exist within myself. And that I've attached to those beliefs. I have an emotional attachment to these beliefs, these meanings that I've created about life. And that attachment to those meanings is what is creating suffering for myself and for my child. So that's sort of like the journey that I came to, you know, through my challenges with my son, through my challenges, you know, with my own health, and ultimately the overarching, you know, message that I really needed to learn through all of this is to really start to honor my authentic self. And through that, I could honor my son's authentic self. So who am I truly? That's the journey that I really went on to help myself to become healthier, to help and then to really learn to love and accept myself for everything that I was, everything that was presenting in the present moment, that this is a journey that we're on. And then only through that could I really start to learn to love and accept my child for the beauty that he really is. And really what I call him the Zen master, because he mirrors to me exactly what I am struggling with inside that I'm not conscious of yet. And so, you know, that's also the beauty of, like, I think children with special needs, they have a really special energy. They also come into this world and they're strongly mirroring to us that, you know, the way in which we're operating is not okay, and that something needs to be changed. And that we need to really shift who we are being, and you know, they have to mirror it just very strongly through this way of having all these special, you know, needs. And all we want to do as parents is put them back into our conditioning. Yeah. We want to take them and, okay, how can we get them to function in normal society? You know, how can we get them to be as normal as possible? And my child won't have any of that. So the more and more, and, you know, I could say that, like, you know, I'm so unlucky, but, you know, I've shifted my lens and my belief on that, that it's not about being, you know, unlucky, or it's not about, you know, my child being hard or difficult. You know, that it's really about him trying to show me that to open up my mind and really become more conscious that there are different ways of being, and those ways of being are okay too. So yeah, so that's you know, that's the journey that I come to with him. And you know, overall, I think the main thing that I kind of want to share with you guys, if that's okay, about my journey to really being able to come to that full love and acceptance of my child, is really through understanding the belief systems that I'm operating through. And through that journey, that's also helped my health, because those same belief systems were causing ill health in my body. Yeah. So just a little bit about beliefs. You know, the way we develop our belief systems is we have a life experience. And then from that experience, we have feelings that get generated from that experience. And then we form thoughts about those experiences, which is a meaning. We create a meaning out of these life experiences that we have. And then we become attached to those meanings. And then those become our belief systems that we operate through. So those belief systems can be positive, great belief systems that really feed energy in our body and help us create really positive, loving connections with others. Or they can also be very, you know, not so energy, life-giving belief systems that really live in us and affect us down to the cellular level, and affect our energy that we vibrate with, we walk around with, and then create our reality, right? So whatever walks into that whatever energy we're vibrating on creates our reality. And our children walk into that, and then they start to learn those belief systems as well, and they absorb it and they take it on. And then and all a child really wants is to be loved and accepted. And so they will step into that belief system at the expense of giving up who they truly are. And this is exactly what we did as children as well. The conditioning kind of comes down the line, generation after generation. And I feel like the reason why a lot of these kids who are coming to more, these souls that are more pure and special and are quote unquote special needs, is because they're really coming here to help us to see that this conditioning that's being passed on generation after generation is not helpful for us anymore, and something really needs to change. And so they're mirroring it to us in a very obvious, very, for many people, harsh, cold reality way of this is what's happening because of our conditioning. So the beliefs we walk around with basically affect our relationship with our children. And we're very unconscious of those beliefs. So things like, it's not okay to get angry. Okay, so we feel like it's not okay to get angry. So when our child gets angry, we disapprove, and our child feels that disapproval. But what is anger really? It's an emotion. Yeah. It's an authentic expression of what's coming up inside. It needs to come up, it needs to be let out, it needs to be expressed. But if our conditioning, if we learn that it wasn't okay or it wasn't safe to express anger in our household, that we were disapproved of and we didn't get love and acceptance for it, then we're going to think it's not okay for our child to express anger, and we're going to react to it. Versus respond to it, allow the emotional expression to happen, accept that. And through that, what we're doing is we are helping our children to accept more of their authentic truth. When we allow them to express their emotions, their anger, their sadness, their frustration, whatever it is, that they're expressing, if in that moment we can fully love and accept our children, for who they truly are, whatever they're expressing, allow them to express it. We're helping them build that belief system in themselves that, hey, I can be angry, I can be sad, I can be happy, and I'm accepted for all of that. And then it helps them to also develop emotional resiliency in their lives. It helps them to develop their own inner strength, that I can be with all of these, painful emotions, all of these different parts of me, instead of hating these parts of me. So many of us walk around in life where we are not approving of different parts of ourselves, where, we have this inner critic voice going on, that it's not okay to be angry. It's not okay to be lazy and lie around sometimes. It's not okay to just be. We have to do and get stuff done and be efficient. And so all of these belief systems we live through are really the lens through which we are seeing our children. And if they don't fit into those belief systems, then we react. Then we're not happy, and then we have suffering. So that's really what, the crux of my work, for my own personal work, and what I work with, with clients, is to really help them to understand and start to shine light on those belief systems that they're operating under, that are very unconscious, and that you only have power when they're unconscious. That once we shine a light on them and they become more conscious, then we're in a place of awareness, then we're in a place of choice. Then we can say, do I really want to operate out of this belief system? Or, do I want to switch that to be more in line with honoring me and my true self, and honoring my child and their true self? So that's really I feel like for most parents, the crux of this work is to really focus on their own emotional stress and emotional health, and understand that their emotional stress, emotional health is really being run by their belief systems. And how much their child stresses them out is really because of those belief systems.
So how can we teach our children about emotional resilience and really feeling into their emotions as parents?
Yeah,
it's to model it ourselves.
Right. So that's a great question. And really it is to model it ourselves. Sorry, there was a bit of a delay in the video. I missed your last comment, but it's okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, it's to really, is to model it ourselves. So we have to do the inner work ourselves first and understand that we're living a life that may not be totally authentic, and honoring our true authenticity, and not be authentic to who we truly are. And if that's the case, then there's no way, there's no chance that we're going to let our children live their lives being their authentic self. So that's really the first step, is to understand, to really look at the beliefs in which you are, holding yourself to, and then asking yourself whether you want to believe that or not, and then to really start to switch your beliefs so that you can then take charge of your own emotional health, which is your emotional reactions to your child, your relationships to life. And as that shifts, your children will see that in you. And they're way wiser, way wiser than we think. We think, oh, our children don't understand, they don't get it. They're smarter than us, because especially when they're younger, when their executive brain functioning is not fully online yet, everything is energy to them. So you may be saying one thing, but your voice, your tone of voice, and your body language is saying something else, and they're reading that, and they're taking that messaging, and they're not hearing the words so much. So modeling as a parent, to really model it, to work on yourself, and to really shift those beliefs within yourself, that really helps your children to see this when they see the shift in you, and then they see the change in the way that you're no longer reacting to them, but you're responding to them, and you're honoring them, and you're allowing their authentic expression. Then they learn through that, like, oh, okay, mommy accepts this in me. Mommy says it's okay for me to be angry, that it's just, an emotion coming up, or yes, I may have freaked out and thrown things and had a total meltdown, but in my most vulnerable moment, mommy accepts me. So, I don't have to walk away and feel shame and hate myself after. So they learn through both the modeling of how we help ourselves emotionally, and through that, how we can then help them emotionally. Because the only way we can accept what we see in them is if we accept that in ourselves.
First, yeah. And a lot of these beautiful children are so in tune as well, and so psychic, and they can feel, as you said, children can feel anyway, but especially these high vibrational children can feel that maybe the words that we're saying aren't matching our vibration, and they're feeling the vibration rather than the words. So when we shout, I love you, and we're shouting and angry, they're like, well, that doesn't match up to what you're saying.
Right.
And they're confused about how then to communicate with others as they start growing up.
Right. Exactly. So they form
us. Yeah.
So it's a confusing for them. And then also, from a brain perspective, it's a bit fragmenting. So they learn that through this interaction with us as parents, that on the one hand, I'm supposed to be loved and accepted and feel fully safe by my parent, but when I'm in a state of vulnerability and they're not accepting me, and in fact they're angry with me, it's very confusing. And in fact, it's a good point you bring up, because then it also creates this disconnection, and the child feels like that they need to disconnect, because it's not safe to stay connected in that moment. And that's very fragmenting for from a brain perspective. We don't know what to do with. Here we're wired to fully to fully get all of that love and acceptance from our parents, and our caregivers. But then when that doesn't happen, in moments when we're our most vulnerable and scared, then it's a very scary experience that happens internally from our brain or nervous system. And then it creates a nervous system for a child that's more wired towards fear and anxiety. So the more, building emotional resilience in our children is really about helping them to feel safe in the face of whatever they're experiencing, and to know that we can handle it as parents. But as parents, if we can't handle our own emotional turmoil inside, then there's no way we're going to be able to handle our child's emotional turmoil. We may, on the surface, like our child may be crying and say they're bleeding or something, they've gotten hurt. And on the surface, we're like, okay, you're okay, you're okay. But our whole energy system is showing that we're in total fear, and they're reading that and they're taking that in. And that's an extreme example when a child is very hurt. But that happens in little ways too, where a child comes home and they fail a test or something, right? And then you're, as a parent, you go into fear, like, oh, what's going to happen? Like, he's not doing well in school. And then you're reinforcing a message in your child from there. But really, where is that coming from? What's that fear of your child not doing well in school? Where is that really coming from? Is it coming from your own fears that you grew up with, that if you didn't do well in school, then you wouldn't have been loved and accepted, and you felt like you wouldn't make it in society? It's all like the perspective, these lenses that we see things through, and we have to understand that every single reaction we have towards our children really has to do with us. And so we can look at this, we can shift the lens from, oh, my child is hard, my child is difficult, my child takes so much energy, to my child is a gift. They are really mirroring to me what I need to work on in myself, and they will do it over and over and over again, until we learn the lesson. And so the gift really is that it's almost like free therapy. You don't have to go to a therapist to point out what you might be stuck on. If you can just shift your perspective and look at your child from that perspective, that they're there to teach you as much as you're there to help them and guide them. Wow. That they're going to mirror to you, and that every reaction you have to them, if you can in the moment go, okay, why am I having this reaction? Where is this coming from? What's going on inside of me, that I can't accept this in my child. And then that will help shine the light on the beliefs that you might be operating through. And that you have an emotional attachment to that belief. And that's what's creating the suffering. So we have emotional attachments to our children, must listen to us as parents, And so why is that? Because we were taught that if to be a good girl or a good boy, that we listen to our parents. And then what happens when we do that? We get love, we get acceptance, we get accolades. Our parents talk about us in front of other people, talking about how good we are, and they praise us, and then they feed that belief system. And then it's like, okay, well, my authentic self, whether I'm good or bad or whatever, is I'm not accepted for all of me. I'm only accepted for these parts. So I must start living my life being this part only. And these parts, no, I hate these parts. Like, I'm gonna, push them down. So those are the parts then you start hating in your children, and you want to bury, because you have a fear that if you were to show those parts of you, you would not be loved, accepted in society, in relationship, in the world. So that's really what the work is about, ultimately, to shine light on these belief systems, understand that those belief systems, you have an emotional attachment to them. That's creating the emotional stress and turmoil in your body. And that's creating your reaction to life, your reaction to your children, your reaction to all relationships, to the world. And all of that is living in your body, affecting you down to a cellular and genetic level too. So a lot of the belief systems that I had towards my child were also the belief systems that were causing ill health in my own body. So it's all connected, it's all really, really connected.
Wow.
Yeah, disease, isn't it? You know, the
Yes.
energy you're creating, that dis-ease within your body. The dis-ease then can, if it's over accumulation of time, can turn out to be physical pain, physical hurt, physical illness.
Yes, all of that. It all manifests. Our biography becomes our biology. It all manifests in ourselves down to even the genetic levels of, you know, we know from the science of epigenetics that our environment affects the expression of our genes, whether good genes get turned on or off, bad genes get turned on or off, but so does the emotional environment as well. So in the emotional environment, and there's more science on this, you know, that you can also see in my upcoming free offering, which I'll talk about as well at the end of this, that there is science on this, that our emotional health directly has an impact on the way our cells function down to the way our genetic expression happens, you know, whether bad genes get turned on or off. So it's all very much connected. So we can kind of use our children as a vehicle to understanding the beliefs that we're living through, because they're going to mirror it to us all the time. And then when we are feeling that pain and suffering, then you know you have attached to a belief. And so then it's really digging deep to understand, what is that belief? And is that really aligned to who I am, or is that something I picked up when I was a kid? And do I really want to live through that belief anymore? And then really starting to consciously shift that. And so that's really what, you know, I feel like conscious parenting is to understand ourselves more through the experience, through the relationship we're having with our children.
Yeah.
And of course, this is not something you do alone. We need help with this. This is a new way of being. It's a process. And we definitely need lovely coaches like yourself that is able to help us.
Yes, I think, you know, everybody needs help. I'm a coach, and I have my coaches and mentors who help me. And ultimately, you know, what as a coach, like when you go to coach or a therapist, the ultimate goal is to really, what they're going to do is they're not going to save you, right? I don't save anybody. What I do is I really help you tap into your own wisdom, to your authentic self, and start living from that place. And then that's where the real energy of life comes from, when we start living through our authentic self, and that feeds life through our whole body. That creates, you know, life energy all around us. Then our children see that, and they walk into that, and they learn that, you know, not just from what we say and do, but from the energy we put out there and the way we're being in the world. So definitely getting help to get on that path, and to help you see your blocks, and to help you get to that place of really understanding and tapping into your true wisdom from within, because we all have it. And, you know, some of us just need some help to remove some of the blocks out of the way so that we can get access to that true wisdom within.
It's amazing how this inner work can really affect all aspects of our life. And, you know, when we have the physical elements that come out, that's maybe the last process of the fact that we haven't listened to our inner self and our, you know, all the thoughts and beliefs that are just, and it builds up to stress and anxiety, and then it comes out in a physical way. So to be able to do the inner work first, and to work on these inner thoughts and beliefs and what's coming up, what's triggering us, as you said, with our children.
Yes, 100%.
Is absolutely amazing. It can have an amazing effect on all aspects of our lives. So this is something we want to reiterate.
Right. And so, like, if you are struggling with a health challenge, then, you know, you can't get to sort of the underlying what's going on, and what's, you know, causing the chronic underlying unconscious emotional stress that's happening. You know, just start to see how you react to your children. Because they'll help you start to figure that out. You know, the belief systems you're living through, and I can guarantee that most of those belief systems are connected to the ill health that's happening in your body. Yes. So we can really become more aware through this relationship with our children.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. We are coming to the end of our time, unfortunately. We could speak to you all day. Can you tell us a little bit about your free gift?
Yes. So So, I'm really a proponent of supporting parents who are in a state of stress. And I know that having a child with, special challenges can be a stressful experience. It's not what you expected. You had a different view of life, a different belief of what your life with your child was going to be like. So my offering is really how to help you to become more emotionally regulated. So I have a free mini course offering that's coming out that you'll have a link to here, that you can access and learn more about how your emotional health affects your physical health, and also helps you to start to understand some of the belief systems that you may be operating through that are causing ill health in your body. And likely a lot of those belief systems will be directly related to what's causing any sort of reaction or discomfort in your relationship with your child too. So that'll be a free 3-video mini course offering with handouts and guides and coaching questions to help you really start to dig deep and start to get more of an understanding of that unconscious, operating system that's running behind the scenes and possibly, ruling your life, and help you to become more conscious as a result.
Wow, it sounds absolutely incredible.
Amazing. Yes. Yeah. Great place to start.
It is a great place to start. Most parents think I have to start with figuring out how to fix my child and how to get them to change. But, we are all in relationship, and the way we are as parents, as individuals first, has a direct impact. So really, as parents, help yourself first, clear the emotional stuff, become more regulated, have tools in the moment to help yourself be more regulated. Last night my son woke up and he wanted to vomit in the middle of the night, and I have tools. I do tapping. I do this finger tapping, and I say, I release all emotional attachment to wanting this to be different from what it is right now, and then literally my body relaxes and I'm able to come into the present moment. And then guess what? He falls asleep pretty quickly right after. But if I'm not in that state, that doesn't happen, So it's really about helping yourself first, and really looking at your emotional health and the stress that you're living under on a chronic level, and healing all of that first. And through that only will you really, really be able to help your children.
Oh, amazing. Incredible.
Yeah, that was great to get that in there. That last experience that you've had. And yeah, it is simple. The steps are simple, but also it's being aware of when to do them, and just saying, I'm taking a breath here. I'm going to do tapping, whatever it is that works for you.
Yeah, because I've spent so much time trying to help my child get there, but I've realized that me getting there first helps expedite the process way faster. It really does. Yeah. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You've been so inspirational. Thanks for sharing your wonderful wisdom with everyone today.
It's been a pleasure, and it's been an honor. Thank you so much.
I think that they can do it, because we can all do it as parents. It's not always easy, but we have
100%. We can
all
all do it, and it can be a lot easier than we think. We can choose to do it through ease and flow and joy instead of pain and suffering. But it takes tuning in first and being